Okay, so if you remember, we were uh, doing the uh, first example at, I guess yeah, it's on page 188. If you have the book in front of you, I'll start sharing my screen as well. At page 188, you can see the example we have just below the definition of carrying capacity. And if I remember, we are actually trying to factor out and see how it's become uh, the factorized format that the one is given for R adjusted. So R adjusted we know that using the formula y equals mx plus b, we reached that this format. But from this, we wanted to know how can we get the factorized format. For that, we're trying to factorize uh, something like this, 5b plus 10b squared. Okay, so my question was, if I factor out 5b from it, what else will I have? The reason I'm doing this again is you need to know how to factorize. If you know this is amazing, but if you don't know, you need to know that, because the problem, you will see the factorized form. So I want you guys to know, how did you get that, or how can you get that rather. Okay, so the factorized format is nothing but the same thing. As you can see, we have an equal here. That means the value will remain intact. So what we are doing here is trying to find a format. If we just multiply that and find the result, in return, we'll get the same thing. We're not doing anything out of the world. We're trying to find a format for which, if we multiply each term, we should still get the same result, the one we started with. So clearly we have two terms here. Inside, we'll have two terms as well. So whatever we have inside, if we multiply that by 5b and add those two terms, we should get the same thing as we started with. Okay, now, this is a product of two terms, right? So I'm taking 5b from the term 5b. We are multiplying this, right? And getting 5b in return. That's the basic idea. So what should I have here? What should I have here in place of this circle, which will give me 5b in return when I'll multiply this by this?
1.
1, exactly. Can you see that? Because I have 5b, I want 5b again. So that means I'm just multiplying it by 1. So you can imagine it should be 1 here. And you can even eyeball it from this. You had 5b, you are taking all 5b, and this will work as a product. That means you'll have just 1 here. You don't have anything left. Okay. Next, we have 10b squared, and out of those 10b squared, I'm taking 5b. So what else should I have here, which will in return give me 10b squared when I'll multiply 5b with it. So for that, you can rewrite 10b squared in this way. 10b squared can be written as 5b times 2b. Do you agree with me? Is there anyone who has doubts on this? Can I rewrite 10b squared as 5b times 2b? If you have any doubts, I'm more than happy to rediscuss this. Please make sure you're, uh, you're having a clear and precise concept going forward. Okay, so we can rewrite 10b squared as 5b times 2b. So that means if I take 5b out of it, as you can see, we have taken 5b. So what else will I have? You can eyeball it, right? We'll have a 2b here. Can you see that? You can actually rewrite the first term as well. So you can rewrite 5b as 5b times 1 and do the same procedure. So that means if you take 5b from it, you'll have 1. So that means 5b plus 10b squared. If we try to factorize it, if I take 5b out of it, I'll have 1 from this and 2b from this, and finally this will be the factorized form. Before we go any further, any question from this? Any question? No questions at all? Okay. Now, let's see what can we do here for our problem. Okay, so if I take the common term, which is 0.1, this is common, right? So I can factor this out. What will I have inside the brackets? Who wants to volunteer? Just use the same idea, what we have seen for this one. What should we have inside the brackets? Let's do it one by one. What should we have? Since we have a negative sign here, we'll definitely have a negative sign in between the two terms. What's the first term? If we take out 0.1 out of 0.1, what should we have here?
1.
So again, using the same idea, you can see we'll have, we'll have 1 here, right? Since we are taking everything from it, so we'll have just 1 there. Can you see that? Now, if I take 0.1 from this term, now what should I have? I'm taking 0.1 out of the term 0.1 over 5,000 times P. I'm just factoring out 0.1 from it. What should I have now? What's left?
5,000.
Like this?
Yes.
Then where is the P? We also had a P in the second term.
I'm not sure.
No problem, sir. As long as you're trying, that's what I want. Anyone else?
Isn't it just with the 5,000?
Sorry, could you please tell just a little bit louder?
Isn't it just by the 5,000 or with it? I mean,
So what should I have? I didn't get your point.
like, would be 1 minus 5,000 p.
Oh, so you're telling it should be 5,000 P? Okay, so you're almost there, almost. Not quite, but very good. Anyone else? Because this is wrong. This is not
Shouldn't
wrong.
it be 1 over 5,000 p?
Exactly. This 5,000 is actually in the denominator, if you remember. Let me rewrite it for you. It's actually in the denominator. So if you take out 0.1 from it, it should be 1 over 5,000. And of course, we had a P. Right? Now, does it make sense? If you still have doubts, I can rediscuss this because you need to know how this is happening. Otherwise, when I'll discuss this the next couple of lectures, you'll be wondering what's going on. So that's why I'm spending time on this. And we have plenty of time, to be honest. We have only 1 or 2 examples to solve, and then we'll go for the exam review. So everyone, are you guys with me? How did I get this from this? All good? Okay, looks like it's good. So if you have any questions, you can let me know after the lecture ends as well. You can send me email and I'll try to help. And if it makes sense, then it's even better. All right, let's move on then. So the logistic model, if you remember, had a format like this: Pn equals to Pn minus 1 plus R times Pn minus 1, right? Now we have the adjusted R. So we'll just replace it in place of R, okay? So in place of this, it will be Pn minus 1. Adjusted R is this. So it will be 0.1 times 1 minus P over 5,000. So this will be, oh, sorry, we have a Pn minus 1 as well coming from this. Okay. So it should be Pn minus 1. So this should be our final model for that problem which we are working on with the adjusted R. So we can rewrite the logistic growth model from this to this, which is P1 or Pn Pn minus 1 r times 1 minus Pn minus 1 over k times Pn minus 1. So we can rewrite the logistic growth model as this, using the adjusted growth rate R, where K is the carrying capacity, R is the growth rate, and Pn minus 1 is definitely the population in the previous time time duration, or just the exact previous one. Okay. Now let's see one example, and hopefully it will make more sense. Okay. So this will be the formula we'll use. Okay, so example 15, it says a forest is currently home to a population of 200 rabbits. So currently, that means at n equals 0, P naught is 200, because this is the one we'll start with rather. Then it says the forest is estimated to be able to sustain a population of 2,000 rabbits. What is this 2,000 rabbits? How can you use this in this particular model? What should this signify? Anyone? The forest can sustain a population. So what should it be? We have seen definitions for a term like this. Again, you need to understand what is the given information. What does it signify? Because you can always memorize the formula, but if you don't understand what does this mean, especially in the question, then you will plug in the wrong value. So what this 2000 should be? Is it R? Is it K? Is it Pn minus 1? What this should be? Don't look at the solution. Just try to use the definition. Oh, okay, I have something in the chat. So when I'm writing, it's better if you just unmute yourself, because if I'm writing, it's difficult to eyeball two screens simultaneously. So a notification might pop up and it will perish before I look into the screen of my laptop. So yeah, this is K, that's right. Because if you remember, carrying capacity might not work. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. So the carrying capacity is the largest number of population an environment can hold. That means the largest number of population uh, which can survive in that given environment, right? So the question says, the forest is estimated to be able to sustain a population of 2,000 rabbits. That means this is actually the carrying capacity. That means this is K. Now, does this make sense? Is there anyone who has doubts on this, who wants to clarify this again? All good? Perfect. Okay, let's move on. Now, the next line says, absent any restrictions, the rabbits would grow by 50% per year. Now, what is this 50%? Again, don't look at the solution. Just try to use the uh, definition you know. What should this 50% be? Anyone? Let me ask someone from the participants list. Annie? Annie Whittle? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what do you think this 50% should mean?
The what? I'm sorry.
The 50% in the question, what this should be?
I'm not really sure, honestly.
So you can you see the formula for the logistic growth model?
Up top or the squared one?
Right, yeah, the one of the asterisks. So we already have K, we have P naught. So and here R is the growth rate. So what do you think now should be the 50%? This 50% should mean. Just give
Oh,
me a try. No worries.
R?
R, exactly. Because this percentage is actually the growth rate. And even the question says it, right? It says the rabbit should grow by 50% per year. So this 50% is your R. And we always want this in decimals. So it would be 0.50, right? Okay, now the question says predict the future population using the logistic growth model. All right, so since we have P naught, and we can see that the formula uses the previous population. So that means we can calculate P1 for n equals 1, which will use P naught plus R times 1 minus P naught over K times P naught. Now, before we plug in the values, does it make sense? Why can we use that? Or how did you use that? Where did I get this from? Anyone? Any questions from this? I mean, where did I get this from? Or why can I use this? No questions at all? Very good. So now let's plug in the values. What's P naught here? P naught is 200. R is 0.5. 1 minus P naught is 200. Carrying capacity is 2000. And P naught is 200. I'm just plugging in the values in place of their respective places. Okay. Now, if I solve it, let's see what we get. So this will be 1 over 10. So you can use your calculator and solve it for me. Who wants to volunteer this? Just use your calculator and solve it for me. Don't look at the solution. You already have it though. No one has a calculator? I have mine, but I want you guys to participate, to contribute to the lecture. Nathan, can you do it for me?
Yeah, I'm plugging it in right now.
Okay, thank you. Meanwhile, you guys keep doing that because we can cross-check the answer, right? If we have a different result, we might recheck whether it's right or not. So we have a 200.5. This 1 minus 1 over 10 is technically 9 over 10. And we have a 200 here. I can actually solve it by hand. I know it's 290, but my question is, how did you get that? Because it's already written in the book that it's 290. But my question is, can you actually reach that? This is really important, to use the calculator properly, to see the result actually matching with the one you have. So now 0.5 times 200 is 100 times 9 over 10. I'm just solving it by hand. You can always use your calculator. But you need to reach this, right? You need to reach this 290. If you have a different result, please let me know now. Because that means somehow you are using the calculator wrong. And that might penalize you in the exam. So just don't copy the 290 from the book. Just cross-check it. I got it by plugging it in the calculator. Okay, very good. Yeah, that's what I was trying to make sure. If you can actually plug it in the calculator and get the same result, because it's really easy to get a different result if you just do a mistake in between when you plug in. So make sure you're getting the same result using the calculator. So 10 over 100, it goes 10 times into 100. So that's 10 times 9. So 200 plus 90. So it will be 290. Okay. You don't need to do it by hand though, but you at least need to write up to this. You need to show that you are using this formula, plug the values into the respective places, then you can use the calculator to solve it. Okay. All right. Now let's do it for, let's say, okay, we already have, you can see on page 188, 189, you can see the table. We already have the value of P10. Can you see that? It's 1902. Can you see that? The last column of the table. So for n equals 10, it will be 1902. That means P10 is 1902. Now can we calculate P11 using the same procedure? Please do it for me. I'll give you 2 minutes for it. I'll check everyone's work. You can write it in the chat section. You can unmute yourself. What should be P11? For your convenience, I've already written P10 for it. What should be P11? Your 2 minute starts now. Your 2 minutes start now. If you're finished, you can write it in the chat section. You can unmute yourself, whichever you like. We are 16 in total, so I'll check everyone's work, okay? Just do it step by step. first of all, try to imagine which formula should you use, what are the respective values, then plug it back into the respective places and use your calculator. Is there anyone? Okay, so I have one answer, that's 380. 380 doesn't look right. So I think you need to cross-check your value. Let's check your result. I have 1922. Okay, we'll cross-check it. I'll show the answer though. But first I'll take answers from you. I have two answers already. Let's just wait for a couple of more seconds. Okay, I have two 1922. I mean, two results of 1922. I'm not sure if that corrects though. That's correct. Okay, we'll cross-check it. No worries. So I have three answers. 13 more. I need 13 more. Meanwhile, if you can cross-check your result, because 380 doesn't look right, because you can see at P10 we have 1902. That means at P11 it should be more than 1902. So I have three answers of 1922, one answer of 1949, two answers in fact of 1949. Okay, we have already three different results. I've got 6 answers. I need 10 more. Okay, I have one more 1922. You can see you are getting different results. That's why I keep saying, I kept saying that just make sure you are getting the same result using the calculator, because it's really easy to get a different result. Oh, okay, so you're saying that you got 1922 as well. All right, so let's remove this one then. We have 5 of this. 1902. Okay, we have a different result. Okay, that's good. But 1902 doesn't look right though, because at P10 we already have 1902. At P11 it should be more than that, that's for sure, because it's increasing. We already know that it's increasing. So I think you need to cross-check your answer. Although I'll write it here so that you can see. Okay, I have one more 1922 in my email. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9 results, 7 more to go. If you're struggling to do it, please let me know so that I can help. Okay, 1922. So it looks like majority of you got 1922. Let's see whether it's right or not. But before that, I need 6 more results. Okay, I can't give you. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's have that up as one more result as well. So I need 5 more. 1922. Okay. So if you are just copying the result from someone else, I mean, because I'm saying that 1922, 1922. If you are just writing that in the chat section without doing it, then you have only yourself to blame. I don't want you guys to get penalized when you appear for the exam. The exam will be really, really straightforward and easy. You have seen in the second exam as well. So just make sure you know how to do this. I'm pretty sure you'll have a great exam if you just know how to do this. It will not be complicated. Okay, I'll not wait anymore. Let's solve it now. So I didn't get, okay, I have 1949, okay. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I didn't get 3. Okay, let's leave it and try to solve it and see whether it makes sense or not. So P11 will be, so first of all, what should be the formula? What should I have here for P11? That's the first thing you need to know.
You should have P10 plus 0.5, and then in parentheses 1 minus P10 over 2000, and then that times P10 again.
Very good. Again, I'm just using the same formula, right? The formula here. There you go. So for P11, you can see it should be 1 less. So we should have P10 here. We should have the value of R, which is half or 0.5. P1 minus N, N minus F1 rather. So that's P10 again. K is 2000, and that's P10 as well. So this should be your formula for P11, right? Next, P10 is, what's P10? P10 is 1902. So let's plug it back. 1902, 2000, 1902. Now we can use our calculator to see what's the value. So let me do that for you. And you can see and cross-check your result with me. So 1902 divided by 2000 is 0.951. So 1 minus 0.951 is, let me do it step by step for you so that you can see. 951 and 1 minus 0.951 is 0.049. I can multiply this by half times 1902. So 1902 plus it will be 46.599. This is from the second term. And if I add 1902, I'll get 1948.599. And if we round it, because it's a population, it's 1949. So you can see majority of you got it wrong. Only 3 of you got it right. So that's why I'm repeating myself. It's really, really important to see how to actually solve it, because when I'm discussing it, it looks easy because I'm actually doing it for you, or the book already has the result for you. But when you actually solve it, you can see you might have a different result. So instead of 1949, you got 1922. I don't know where did you get this wrong, but you can clearly see you got this wrong, right? Now, the next thing you need to do is to do it again and see where did you get this wrong. Did you use the wrong formula? Did you plug in the wrong value? Did you use the calculator in probably in a wrong way? You need to find those answers. Okay. Now, any question from this? You don't need to get disheartened though. This is just to cross check whether it makes sense or not. So if you practice one or two problems, this should uh, make more sense to you. Plugged it in wrong. Okay, yeah, that's one of the possibilities. As I said, you can do it. You can do three things wrong, I believe. The first thing you can do wrong is to use the wrong formula. Then you can plug in the wrong value. And the third, but not the last one, is to use the calculator wrong. You might have some other reasons, but these three look the most vital ones to me, because when I was a student at your level, I could see these three would have been the reason behind doing it wrong. Okay, so don't get disheartened. I'm here to help, but you need to help yourself as well. Okay, you need to practice one or two problems by hand and plug in the value in the calculator and see and cross check with the book. Okay, it's really important. All right. So the next time when we meet, we'll solve the next two examples. We only have two more examples. So we'll solve example 16 and 17 when we meet on Monday. And before that, obviously there will be a pre-class assignment. I'll not post any more homework before the exam. Instead, I'll try to post the exam review during the weekend. I'll try to do that. If I can't, I'll definitely do that on Monday so that you can start early and start practicing for the exam. So on Monday, you have a pre-class assignment, which is try it now 5 before we meet on Monday. It's on page 190. Okay. Now, any question from the entire discussion? Take a break, breathe in and see if you have any question. I'm repeating myself. I'm more than happy to rediscuss these things. Any question? So we still have 5 minutes. So meanwhile, we will not start the next example because for the pre-class assignments, I have had a hard time getting the book to load properly. Oh, I see. But you need the book, to be honest. You need the book to practice. So probably you can try a different version. I'm not sure. If you want, I can send it to you. I don't know which version do you have or where are you trying it from. You can download it, and probably the downloaded one will load faster because the online version often takes time to load. So you might download it because the offline one will definitely load faster because you definitely need the book. If you want a different version, just let me know. Okay. Okay, so we still have 4 minutes. As I said, we will not start the next example because we don't have enough time to solve it. So meanwhile, I've downloaded it, the one you gave us. Yeah. So if you have downloaded it, I don't know why it takes time to load properly. I don't know. probably it's something with the device. I don't know, because I've been using it for a while now, the downloaded one. I don't see any problem, but I'll cross check it. Okay, if I can do anything for you, I'll do it. I'll try to see if I can send you a different version which will load properly. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so meanwhile you can solve and find P12 and let me know. You have 3 minutes for it before we finish today. I'll try to download it on another device. Yeah, I think that might be a good try. Just let me know, okay, if it doesn't work. Okay, so find P12. And what are the informations you need for finding P12? And what should be the formula? You already have P0 to P11. You already have all the values. Now use these informations to find P12.